Good evening to you. It's Monday, 8th January 2024. Peace is the path to the prosperity of a nation. Let peace reign. On the news this evening, community in Rivers State deserted after army raid. Weekend comments of FCT Minister Nyesom Wike generate reactions. Empty classrooms as schools resume for second term in Rivers State. EFCC invites suspended Minister Betta Edu over 585 million naira scandal. On the foreign scene, technical hitch stops U.S. moon mission. I am Constance Mega. Owerri community in Abuodua local government area of Rivers State has remained deserted after soldiers allegedly raided the area. A concerned indigene of the community, Obinna Idiowa, said they are still living in exile weeks after the raid, where Mr. Idiowa tells correspondent Emeko Tuka that they celebrated Christmas and New Year in the bush without access to potable water, healthcare services and other basic amenities. He said the military raid is linked to the killing of 4 soldiers and the abduction of 2 oil workers by unknown in December last year.
There is nobody in the community. People living inside that are dying indoors. As it is now, school has resumed today. Nobody is going to school in the whole area, starting from nursery, primary and secondary. Our children are in forest. This weather, a woman delivered in the forest like that, no antenatal care, no nothing. It's unfortunate that people are going through what they don't even know anything about. Gari, that we produce Gari, we cannot even access again because everything is dry.
But Mr. Idiowa also expressed surprise that the local government authority has not visited them despite pleas from the community.
Before this time, we have written to the local government chairman, we have written to the securities on ground. Nobody is doing anything. The chairman of council has not visited this area. Since this incident happened, he has never ever visited. He has not said anything. The chief of staff, media aides, nobody, the secretary of council, none of government presence has been felt in the entire area. Nobody has said anything.
Well, he, however, appealed to the Rivers State government and the army authorities to help restore normalcy to the area, especially as schools have resumed for a new session.
We are calling on the Rivers State government, we are calling on the chairman of council, we are even calling on the federal government to intervene, to call on the military to withdraw back their men and allow our people come back to the village, because it is, we are losing a lot of persons. Our children need to go back to school, our mothers and fathers need to come back home. That is our plea to the government.
Online photos show women and children taking shelter in makeshift buildings, while some men were seen lying on the ground in the bush. Moving on, some residents of Port Harcourt are calling on the FCT minister and former governor Nyesom Wike not to perceive himself as a political lord in Rivers State. It followed a statement by the former state governor over the weekend that Rivers people will know who is in charge when it's time for politics. While some others urged him to allow peace and development to thrive in Rivers State.
I think he's being self-centered or thinking he's a god. Why is he losing his boy, the governor? River State people will decide who is going to be their next governor when that time comes, not Wike. Wike is not River State.
I make sure them reconcile. All these things I even know go make state develop because the other one go get his own fashion, the other one go get his own fashion.
If you like, make it say River State.
Wike should know that he's not the owner of River State. That should be picking people to be governor or whatever.
I think talk, you know what in one do during that time. No matter what people they talk for our side.
He's entitled to his statement. We know what transpired in the 2023 election. I believe in the forthcoming election in 2027, I believe the antis will fair them. We want a peaceful River State.
Meanwhile, political analyst Zoe Tamuno-Tonye said the comments of the former governor is capable of heating up the polity, and he advised the former governor to rather join in building on the existing peace in the state.
This was how far the minister went in creating confusion and uncertainty in the politics of Rivers State. I'm therefore using this opportunity to call on the former governor of Rivers State, the minister of the Federal Capital Territory, not to make statements that will incite and manipulate the people for his personal ego. It is important that every Rivers son and daughter maintain the relative peace in the state by desisting from making utterances that could undermine the peace effort by the governor of Rivers State.
Also, convener of Rivers State Peace Initiative, Obinna Egbogidi, said the comments were dangerous.
We are deeply worried that these trends of highly provocative comments and statements, especially by these political leaders, are capable of sparking conflicts and derailing the state from the path of good governance. The continuous resort to acerbic and politically insensitive pronouncements by both the camps of Governor Sim Fubara and former Governor Nyesom Wike, even after the intervention of President Bola Tinubu, does portend great danger for the state, as they have now set the ground for deep-seated animosities.
Well, Mr. Ebogidi advised the FCT Minister, Wike, and the State Governor, Fubara, to avoid actions capable of driving away investors from Rivers State.
We implore all stakeholders, particularly Governor Sim Fubara and his predecessor, Chief Nyesom Wike, to, irrespective of the political differences and grievances, engage in respectful and constructive conversations that promote collective understanding for the sake of the peace and progress of our beloved state. This is not the time to amplify drumbeats of war and scare away prospective investors.
In the meantime, a lecturer in the University of Port Harcourt, Olulu Robinson, has reacted to the absence of the Rivers State Governor, Siminalayi Fubara, at the banquet of the FCT Minister, Nyesom Wike, on Sunday. In an interview with our correspondent, Professor Robinson said the governor's absence was in his best interest.
We are not too sure that the executive governor was invited. So his absence there had nothing to do with peace accord. The comment of the immediate past governor, they are not too kind to the current governor. If he had come, how would you feel if you were the governor of a state and such comments are made? It's important that Rivers State must have this. Under any person that we have elected, we must allow that person to run the state in his own style and way.
In the same vein, a socio-political group, the United Community Development Committee, UCDC, is commending Governor Siminalayi Fubara for his drive to maintain peace in the state by implementing the presidential directive on the resolution of the political crisis in the state. The United Community Development Committee, UCDC, which consists of all chairmen of CDCs in the various villages and communities in Rivers State, stated this in a statement signed by the spokesman and acting coordinator, Harrison Nwosu, Secretary, UCDC, Rivers State, Temaso Sekibo, and Coordinator Rivers East, Kingsley Okabi. Well, it, however, criticized the purported peace resolution as draconian, anti-democratic, and against the wishes of Rivers people. The UCDC also said they will resist any form of tactics deployed to cause havoc and the breakdown of peace by those it called forces that intend to turn Rivers State into a personal territory and Rivers people as slaves. Well, the UCDC also assured Governor Fubara that the community leaders are solidly behind him to continue in his drive, making Rivers State great again. Away from that, classrooms were empty today as schools resumed for the second term of the 2023-2024 academic session. Well, some private and public schools in Rivers State did not begin learning activities. A correspondent who visited some schools along the East-West Road reports that for some public schools it was a cleaning day, even though teachers were seen in staff rooms. Well, some parents spoke to our correspondent.
They need to improve at the level of grammar. My son was almost pronouncing L as Elo, and I think teachers, they need to retrain themselves and improve on it. They are trying, but at least they need to work on that.
There are some children that you teach and they'll grab it. There's some people put extra effort, make sure that they learn. Each of them have their own capability or how to learn. They should correct them in love. Most of these teachers use abusive words on the children. You know, when you tell a child that you are very dull, you cannot learn it, give them that hope. You see them doing better.
Teachers should stop flogging students anyhow.
Still to come, EFCC invites suspended Minister Betta Edu for questioning. Stay tuned.
Stay on track with
EFCC has invited the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, Betta Edu, for questioning over an alleged 585 million naira scandal. But this comes less than an hour after President Bola Tinubu announced Mrs. Edu's suspension from office. Well, presidential spokesman Ajuri Ngelale, in a statement today, said the suspended minister was directed to hand over to the permanent secretary of the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation and fully cooperate with the EFCC as they conduct their investigation. On the foreign scene, the private U.S. moon mission launched on Monday has run into technical problems. The astrobotic company behind the project says its spacecraft has experienced an anomaly that has stopped it from pointing its solar panels stably at the sun. Now, without the ability to charge its battery, the mission's plan to land on the moon is in danger. Well, that's the news, but before we go, let's take a look at the highlights. On the news this evening, you heard that residents of Owerri community in Rivers State have deserted their community after alleged army raid. And Rivers residents and stakeholders have urged FCT Minister Nyesom Wike to shun harmful comments. There were empty classrooms as schools resumed for the second term in Rivers State today. And the EFCC has invited suspended Minister Betta Edu over 85 million naira scandal. On the foreign scene, the private US moon mission launched today has run into technical problems. And that was the news. To reach the news team, send an SMS or WhatsApp to 0808 721 7215. I am Constance Mega. Thank you for listening.
On your talk station, the conversation never ends.
Let the person walk.